I didn't know where to start. I had no business training. I had no business diploma, no business degree, nothing. All I had was an idea and a drive. So I used to sit in rooms like this, immerse myself around other speakers, and I would take notes. These notes became a business plan. The day he was born, he was sitting in his mother's arm in the hospital bed, and I was sitting on the ledge of the window on my laptop. And I remember pressing enter and sending my business plan to a competition. And then they called me back a few days later. They said, Kendall, great job. You have to do a business pitch. I'm like, what's a business pitch? Well, have you ever watched Shark Tank or Dragon's Den? I'm like, yeah. They're like, okay, learn how to do that and come back next week. I'm like, oh my gosh, if you would have told me that, I probably wouldn't have entered. I didn't know that was a requirement. So I had to learn how to do a presentation. Keep in mind, I was not a speaker. I was the shyest kid growing up in school. So the thought of doing this, I went through a lot of emotions just trying to force myself to show up. I tried to look for a way out. Didn't happen. Wasn't meant to. I don't know if I'm feeling good. No, I'm just kidding. So I show up. I tell the story I told you, how Johan helped me. I want to help people through a brand. And what are you going to call it, they'd say? Nietzsche gear. Nietzsche is a form of a friend, a bro term in our language. Niiwichiwagan, my friend, my brother. I want to call it Nietzsche gear, basically friend gear. I want to create it like a sports type brand, and I want to use some of the profits every year to help our people. And I tell that story again and again. Suddenly we're winning money, cash, services to start this brand. I take it to this apartment. And on that kitchen table on the top left, that was my first screen printing table. And I started to learn screen printing. I'd buy equipment. Outside on the deck, the balcony, our second floor of our apartment, was where I would cure the ink. I would harden the ink so it wouldn't wash out after a wash. I was learning on the top right, where my little desk is in the corner. That's where I learned how to design, to build a website, to do things as much as I could by myself. And then we hit a tough time. How many of you in this room or on the call today have been through a financial crisis? Be honest with me. There's not a lot of honest people in this room, as you could see on the call. No, I'm just kidding. We've all gone through a time when we're like, I don't know how this is going to work. I didn't know how I was going to pay for Pampers, formula, for rent. This is a tough time. And I remember going through this time, and I remember we found ourselves the same path that I was going through when I was a child, applying for welfare. My son's in his car seat. My wife, full-time student, and we're struggling. We're going through this application. Suddenly, halfway through it, I had a flashback memory to my childhood, to that photo I showed you of where my mom bounced and budgeted a welfare check. And you know what? It really hurt me. Because here I was in the future, and I was taking my family down the same path. Felt like a failure. But that moment was needed. We stopped. I picked my son up, told my wife, we're going to go home. We're not going to do this. We go back home, and I tell my wife, Rachel, I said, Rachel, I don't know how I'm going to pay for rent, pay for our bills, but if you support me, I believe now is the time to grow this business idea. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I need your support. She nodded, and off I went. This is also the time when I had this poster hanging on my wall since university. This poster I bought my first week in school. Somehow it gravitated towards me, and I saw it in the hallway. I was like, I couldn't afford this poster, but after a few days of seeing it, I was like, I'm going to find a way to pay it. I remember finding some change. I bought it, took it to my dorm room, and it was on my wall ever since, up until this moment. Every day I was seeing this person climb a mountain. That's why I liked the photo. I was like, man, that feels like me. I'm climbing this mountain, trying to make it in the world. But I was also seeing these words and the power of what you see every day. The title says courage, being courageous. He who is not courageous enough to take risks will accomplish nothing in life. Every day I would see this.